Have you ever stopped to think about what the final battle of the Pegasus Night will be like? What will happen to Seiya after the Zeus saga? The answer lies in what happens when a mortal man, driven only by hope and the warmth of his cosmos, decides that justice is more important than his own life, to the point of making the king of Olympus hesitate. Hello, knights and amazons. Welcome to Semperquis Saber. I'm Wes, and today we're going to theorize about the outcome of the battle against Olympus, understand what will happen in the epic saga of Zeus, and glimpse the future of a centennial Seiya waiting for the next holy war. This is the definitive account of the man who became a living legend. Comment below how long you've been a fan of Knights of the Zodiac, and what you think is going to happen now in the canonical saga of Zeus. And of course, go ahead and click like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and let's get into this awesome video. To understand the end of Knights of the Zodiac, we need to remember the beginning. Seiya wasn't just an orphan sent to Greece. He was born under the constellation of Pegasus on December 1st, a Sagittarius destined to pave the way with his persistence and willpower. With his blood type B and his modest height of 1.65 meters. In his teenage years, no one in Athena's sanctuary would have imagined that this Japanese boy, trained by the strict marine of Eagle, would be responsible for bringing down ancient deities. The bronze armor he earned after defeating Cassius was not just a metal artifact, it was a sacred armor that pulsed with the history of the first Pegasus saint. And it was with this determination that he crossed the 12 houses, faced the depths of the ocean against Poseidon, and finally challenged the emperor of the underworld, Hades. But the victory in the Elysian fields came at a bitter price. Hades' sword pierced Seiya's chest, leaving him in a vegetative state trapped by an invisible curse that drained his life force. That's why Athena and the other bronze saints went back to the past and destroyed Hades' sword. That way, Seiya recovered in the future, but this was yet another affront to the gods. Apollo erased the memories of Athena's 5 bronze saints. However, in the Saint Seiya 10 saga, which has 3 short chapters, we see that Saori has already recovered her memories and declared war against Olympus. The saga of Zeus, then, begins not with a war cry, but with a whisper of despair. Athena, or Saori, Kido, the reincarnation of the goddess of wisdom, who was found by Mitsumasa Kido decades ago, knew that the punishment of the gods was imminent. Olympus would not tolerate these mortals, and Athena going unpunished. Zeus, the Lord of Thunder and supreme ruler of Mount Olympus, will send his angels and the lesser deities to purify the earth. The final battle will not be just a physical fight, but a clash of ideologies. While the gods see humans as flawed and disposable beings, Seiya, even without memories, could feel the cosmos of his friends, Shiryu and Ogashin Ikki, burning like distant suns. The turning point will happen when Seiya's cosmos reaches what the ancient records call the ultimate will, or the 9th sense, unlike the 7th sense, which masters the essence of the cosmos, or the 8th sense, the Araya Shiki, which allows one to travel through the world of the dead. The 9th sense is the domain of the gods. Seiya not only became a god, but his Pegasus armor, bathed in Athena's blood, can evolve into a form that transcends the divine armors. It can become a kind of ultimate Pegasus armor, which will be used in this battle against Olympus. In this final clash against Zeus, at the top of Mount Olympus, the setting will be apocalyptic. Lightning bolts that can pulverize galaxies collide with the Pegasus meteor, which now travels faster than the speed of light. Seiya will not fight to defeat Zeus. He will fight to show that humanity deserves the right to make mistakes and learn. The outcome will not be the death of Zeus, because a universal concept cannot simply be erased, but rather a pact of silence. Zeus, incarnated by the divine Saga in the heart of a mortal, grants Earth a millennium of peace, on the condition that Athena's knights disappear from the history of the gods. That would be an unexpected ending. But what happens to the hero when the war is over? The curse of Hades was finally broken. But time, that relentless enemy that not even the Gold Knights can fully stop, began to take its toll. Cut to the year 2070, and we are in a hidden sanctuary in the mountains of Greece, far from the eyes of modern technology. There lives a man who is almost 100 years old. His hair, once brown and unruly, is now as white as the snow of Tibet, but his eyes still hold the sparkle of the stars. This centenarian Seiya is no longer the impetuous warrior who used to shout Athena's name. Every 5 minutes, he has become a hermit of the cosmos, a legendary figure whom the new recruits treat as a myth. He lives in a small cabin near the place where he used to train with Marianne. He no longer wears his armor. It rests in Pandora's box by his side, now waiting for a new heir who has the same pure heart as Seiya. At this stage of life, Seiya understands the meaning of his own existence. He reflects on the companions who are gone. Shiryu became the old master at the 5 ancient peaks of Hozan, passing the legacy on to his son, Shoryu. Hyoga and Shun take care of the foundations around the world, ensuring that peace can be maintained through diplomacy and not just by force. Ikki, as always, disappeared into the shadows, but Seiya knows that Phoenix is always nearby. The 1,000-year peace promised by Zeus is a double-edged sword. Humanity, without the threat of the gods, has forgotten how to burn their cosmos. This is where the informative role of our legendary Pegasus comes in. Seiya has spent the last decades documenting every technique, every variation of attack, and the history of each constellation. He knows that the cycle of the Holy Wars is eternal. Hades, the Poseidons, and other gods will eventually return when Athena's seal weakens. Seiya, who has been the guardian of knowledge for 100 years. He teaches the young that the cosmos is not about destruction, but about harmony. He explains that the Pegasus constellation, located in the northern hemisphere and visible during autumn, represents freedom. But the question we left at the beginning still echoes through time. How did he survive? The answer lies in the essence of the Phoenix. During the final battle against Olympus, the bond between the 5 bronze saints became so strong that their life essences merged. Seiya carries within himself a bit of Ikki's immortal cosmos, which allowed his physical body to endure far beyond the normal human limit, keeping him alive to be the beacon for the next generation. When the next holy war breaks out, Seiya will not be the protagonist. He will be the master, the archetype of the wise man, who passes the armor to the new protagonist. Imagine the scene. A young knight about to give up in front of an overwhelming enemy. He feels a heavy, warm hand on his shoulder. It's Seiya. He doesn't need armor to make the ground shake. Just with his presence, he shows that the cosmos is infinite. The battle against Olympus will leave scars on the fabric of the universe, and the outcome will be a delicate balance. Seiya reappears at the end of the saga. At 100 years old, he is the symbol that humans can evolve without losing their essence. He waits patiently, watching the stars every night, knowing that as long as there is love and justice on Earth, Pegasus will always find wings to fly. That was my theory about the final journey, and the eternal legacy of Seiya, of Pegasus, the warrior who started as an orphan searching for his sister Saga, and ended up as a pillar of humanity. The saga of Zeus may be the end of an era, but for Seiya, it will only be the beginning of his eternity. As the guardian of hope, leave your theories in the comments about how the end of the Zeus saga will be. And, of course, thank you for watching this video until the end, and see you next time. Burn your cosmos to infinity.